Hey guys, Josh here. So I'm not gonna bore you with like a really long introduction or anything like that. Let's just get right into it. So these are the newer scenes I'll be covering. I'm not gonna really try covering the old ones. If you want to see a breakdown of those older scenes that they used in previous teasers / trailers, check out our older breakdowns. But anyways, let's get right into it. At 14 seconds, we see Ultron on his throne. Now it looks like he has not a carpet, but like a towel or something like that over his head. Maybe to hide his new form, something along those lines. We don't know. This looks like it's going to be the form, though, that we've commonly seen. So I don't see a reason to hide it unless he's just, I don't know, being a little antisocial here. But at 28 seconds, looks like he is plugged into something, like a data port, maybe to some degree, to collect data from this facility he's in. Obviously, he's not in the Eastern European kind of castle that we saw him in before. So I'm definitely thinking this is maybe the rumored South Korean scene where he attacks South Korea. That'd be pretty cool. Let's say he takes their data and leaves. Because last time I checked, Ultron doesn't really need to charge so much. So I'm definitely thinking he's collecting data here. At 40 seconds, really cool, we get to see the Avengers Tower. Now, one thing I think that's noteworthy here is that it definitely looks like the Stark Tower was rebuilt to be the Avengers Tower. It looks like the A is definitely installed in there on purpose. It's not an accident. Also, it's blue instead of red, so that's pretty cool also. And, you know, it's just, I think it's really nice that they're definitely embracing the Avengers and not making it this kind of reluctant thing that just happens to, you know, need to come together. 44 seconds. I'm guessing this is Ultron kind of assembling himself before he appears before the Avengers, because honestly, Tony's not here, Bruce isn't here, nobody's here. It's just the robots, the machines just kind of doing it themselves. And Ultron's an artificial intelligence. He's not a robot, so he's not limited to being a robot. Thus, you know, he could be controlling all these different machines to make him a body so he can interact with the, you know, physical world. Now here's pretty interesting. We see on the right side, I put some arrows here to help, you know, point them out. Loki's scepter, definitely, you know, the mind gem supposedly will be playing a part into how Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch get their powers through Hydra experimentation with it, and also it's one of the Infinity Stones. It's been confirmed it's the Mind Stone, so that's going to play a part as we build up closer and closer to the Infinity War. And on the left, I think that's kind of the virtual matrix, if you would say, for Ultron's AI. It also kind of reminds me of when Killian in Iron Man 3 was kind of showing Pepper his brain and like the brain waves and all that stuff. And you know, we've seen something similar to this in other sci-fi movies, other technology movies. I think Transcendence had one too, where they're kind of doing like the AI thing, and they would have this, which is supposed to represent like all the data, you know, being all fluid and things like that. Now at 1 minute 1 second, you see a little heart there. I put it in there just for fun. Anyways, the purpose of that is they're in a relationship and it looks very romantic. They show a scene also like 2 seconds after this where it looks like they're about to kiss. Don't know. Black Widow, I just want you to settle down sometime soon. Now at 1 minute and 8 seconds, we get one of our multiple potential kind of assemble shots, you could say. We get Hulk, Iron Man, Cap, Hawkeye, showing his new duds, Black Widow, and Thor, all coming after what I'm guessing is the Hydra outpost, which is pretty cool. Iron Man's on a motorcycle, or not Iron Man, Captain America, sorry, is on a motorcycle. Iron Man's in his new suit. Hulk's looking hulky. Like I said before, Hawkeye's in his new duds. Thor's in practically the same thing he wore before. And Black Widow has technically a new outfit, but in this pose you can't really tell. Now, at 1 minute 15 seconds, we get to see Tony Stark holding the Chitauri scepter or Loki's scepter. This is pretty important, I think, because I'm guessing this will play a part into maybe Tony's mindset going to this film. Maybe through this, he kind of gets to see the danger that, you know, is out there versus the danger that's in here, which maybe would push him more to make the Ultron program, or maybe it will help him see what's to come and he'll prepare. I don't know, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I just think it's noteworthy that he's not only looking at the scepter, but he's holding the scepter. At minute 19, we see Nick Fury. This is at Hawkeye's kind of house, shack, I don't know the official name of giving it, safe house I think. Tony obviously in much less high-tech gear. But Nick Fury has come along, and I think Nick Fury is going to give the pep talk. I think the Avengers are going to be beat. They're going to be kind of in a bad mood, kind of agitated. Obviously, you know, they're defeated. And I think Nick Fury is going to come along and kind of give them that talk they need to really get their ass in check, so to speak. Now, at a minute 20, we get to see what I'm guessing is a part of the first confrontation between the core three of the Avengers, Iron Man, Cap, and Thor, and obviously the twins. At a, 1 second later, the twins with Ultron. Now, Ultron's like 9 feet tall, so he looks huge. But I think this is a pretty cool scene. We get to see a little bit more of it later, Ultron attacking Cap, things like that. But I just think it's really interesting. Obviously, if you look at the outfits being worn, you can see Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch have a bit different outfits than they do later on in the movie from what we've seen. So definitely this is, I'm guessing, earlier into the movie when they first joined sides with Ultron. Now, a minute 25, this seems after the first conflict in Eastern Europe, and they're all kind of talking and yada yada yada. Or maybe this is after the first conflict with Ultron, I don't know. But all in all, they're I'm guessing at Stark Tower, and it looks like they're just having a nice kind of bro conversation. Maybe not a bro conversation, but they're just having a nice conversation about, the things to come and, how to go about it. Now, at a minute 29, this is really interesting. A lot of people are saying this is confirmation Ultron in this model does not have Vibranium. I say that's ridiculously not true, because if you know anything about Vibranium can get scratched and dented by other Vibranium. Cap's shield. So really all this tells us is that Ultron's, I guess, durable enough to take the hit of the shield without, it just going through him, and he rips it out, he throws it off later. But all in all, this is pretty cool. Kind of, I think I'm seeing some facial features in Ultron in this scene, which is interesting. Kind of a fear of, it looks more like disgust, kind of, if that makes sense. Tell me if you guys, are seeing the same thing here. But this looks like it may be in South Africa, potentially. So I'm getting a feeling that this is going to, from the looks of it, kind of be taking place during the Hulkbuster, Hulk scene. I'm guessing maybe Cap will be fighting Ultron a bit, while Hulk will be fighting the Hulkbuster, which is really cool, because that would explain why, obviously, Ultron's not fighting Tony Stark right now, or the Hulk, which would make a lot more sense, because, obviously, those two have a lot more power to them, and also Thor included. And at a minute 39, we see Scarlet Witch doing things that would get her called a witch, which seems to be a little bit of manipulation here. Technically, this may be the scene where she kind of shows everybody, potential future. That's obviously, for Thor, it's rumored to be a preview of some degree of Thor Ragnarok. For Iron Man, it's, a preview, so to speak, of Infinity War, with all of them, fighting Thanos, or all being defeated by Thanos. But all in all, this is pretty cool. It's nice to see Scarlet Witch doing a lot with their powers. She's a very powerful character in the comics. Her powers have a lot of fluidity, in the sense where they're not really kind of nailed down. So far, it looks like she has telekinesis, slight telepathic abilities, and beyond that, we don't really know. So I'm interested in seeing how they go about it. At a minute 49, we get to see a really cool shot. First off, confirmed that Ultron can fly, but get to see all the Ultron drones. Now, I am a yay and a nay for this scene. I'm a yay because, wow, that's really cool. I'm a nay because this kind of gives me flashbacks to the first Avengers with all these drones, and there's a lot of destruction going on here too. Looks like the area is evacuated, but still, it's one of those things where I was hoping we'd get less drone fighting, because that's always a hassle. Not a hassle, it's always a kind of a negative with team movies, is that to give them all something to do, usually there's drones of some kind or henchmen of some kind. So I was really hoping there'd be some way that it could just be Ultron versus the Avengers for the big final scene. But they have to find a way to incorporate all the characters somehow. I understand that, but I really hope they pull this off. I hope it's not as kind of lackluster as the Chitauri was, because obviously a lot of people complained about the fact that the Chitauri were defeated and they just all kind of died out, they just went offline, which obviously may be the case for this. And at a minute 54, really cool, we get to see Scarlet Witch on the side of the Avengers. Quicksilver presumably also, but you know, he's probably just moving so fast we can't see him. And yeah, so we get to kind of see another money shot. Reminds me of the one from the first Avengers 1 trailer where they're all kind of circled around and they're all fighting Ultron drones. Interesting to note, the Ultron drones seemingly are knocked on the floor offline. They're not like broken apart, and like that's why they're not working. So I'm wondering if it's one of those things where they take enough damage and they just kind of go offline, versus they have to be completely destroyed, and or you know, versus them just coming back even if they're like only a head remaining, because they're robots. So it's not like they're feeling pain, so to speak. And talking about robots feeling stuff, we get an awesome look at the Vision at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Now here's the thing, I made a video a long time ago saying that I think Vision will get the Soul Stone. Reason being, because that will make him very unique. One thing about the Vision, same thing with the Human Torch, Android version, is that they border the line between, you know, they always bring in the question of how do you judge life, because they're technically synthetic, but they have all the character traits, all the qualities of people. And I think the Soul Stone would be a really cool way to do this, because they could do this in a metaphorical way, but also literally with the Soul Stone giving life to an automaton, which also goes into some philosophical questions that, you know, if you have read like Kant and things like that, Descartes, not really Descartes, I think Kant more specifically, but a lot of philosophy deals with this too, like, you know, automatons, life, humanity, like how do you tell the difference, like what's that dividing line? So I think this would be really cool with the Soul Stone kind of giving life to, you know, the Vision, so to speak. And definitely I think that's the Soul Stone at this point, because it has that same kind of look, the same kind of to it that the other ones have. So that's about it. And you know, I know it's really brief, sorry, I'm just like trying to do this in between classes. I left the class early to do this earlier. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think below, and adios.